Hello YouTube, how are you guys doing? My name is Ellie and this is like my 19th update video on testosterone. So, pleasure to meet y'all. If this is your first time to my channel, let me introduce myself right quick. So, hi, my name is Ellie. I'm a non-binary person for lack of a better definition. I always when I say that line, I just think like in 3 or 5 years there's going to be a different term, a better term, or maybe I altogether won't identify as non-binary, but that's the way it is right now. That's the best word that I have for myself. And what it means for me is that I don't feel exactly 100% boy or girl. So, I am taking testosterone. I have been taking low dose testosterone. Recently, I've switched up to just a normal dose testosterone, which I'm going to get into in a while, with the aims of masculinizing my body. That is, making it be more masculine. So, I was born female. I was raised a girl. At the age of 20 something, I started to figure out that maybe this wasn't for me. Maybe I'm more in the middle or on the other side of the things that I thought. And I started taking tea. So I've been on tea for almost now, I think 19 months, something like that. And I started from a very, very low dose, as in, let's say that the normal dose is 50, so I was on 8, so that's less than 1/5. And it started having effects for me from the get-go. So what I used to be is a little bit anemic. I used to have a little bit more, like, I don't want to say depression, because I wasn't diagnosed with depression, and I don't want to get into I don't want to get into diagnoses, but I used to feel bad most of the time, and now I feel good most of the time. And I don't want to go ahead and say that's just hormones, because that normally isn't. It's also about a lot of things, but it's undeniable that the more tea I take, the better I feel. So, be it for whatever reason. Also, if you hear the meow, that's my cat. She's out super enjoying the sunshine, but not enjoying me picking her up. So I'm gonna put her right down. So, okay. So, I have been taking tea. It's been having mental effects on me that have been all in all positive, and it's been having physical effects on me, which I normally tell in these videos. I call it changes and updates. So let's go with the first thing is that I think I finally had my voice drop. Now my throat is kind of sore. I've been for the last 2 weeks. And I definitely feel that I can go a lot lower in my register than I used to be able to. And not only that my normal voice kind of feels a bit too high for me right now. And I actually finally feel like a barrier, like there's only so far up I can go now. Like I used to be able to go really, really high, and now it kind of cuts off at a certain point, which is awesome because I always wanted the freaking voice drop. Ever since starting tea, that was like my number one. I really, really wanted the voice drop, and now I'm getting it. So there's that, and then there is hair. Hair everywhere. So I've been growing a shit ton of hair everywhere, starting with facial hair, which I really want you guys to see because I think it's changed a shitload. Like, look, over here, maybe try the other side. Over here, I definitely, and here, more so than anything, like, let's see if we can focus on that. Okay, so I've been definitely getting like a mustache all through here, like not patches, like a friggin' mustache. And then I've been getting patches here and a lot on my neck, really a lot. Now I don't know what you can see because I've been pretty methodically removing it because I'm not so much into having facial hair. Well, maybe I might be more into having facial hair if my wife didn't take such a pet peeve to it. But anyway, I kind of remove it, whether be it that I shave or that I use some kind of cream to take it off. But I've definitely been getting a beard, which is this. Like, if I let this grow for a week, there's going to be like a 15-year-old beard here. And there's definitely a stash already. Like, it's not a pedo stash anymore. It's a stash. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to get into how I feel about it later. Okay, so I always talk about sleep. So I don't know what to tell you guys because like I have a lot of problem sleeping and sometimes it's better and sometimes it's worse. The last month has been okay with like some days worse than others, but I cannot say that upping the dose has definitely improved my sleep or made it worse. I can just say that it fluctuates. Okay, some people talk about energy. I feel that for me, energy is a lot more related to nutrition. As in, what do I eat? Do I eat less or more? Is it vegetarian? Is it not? Is it dairy? Is it not? Then anything that has to do with hormone levels. So while keeping testosterone constant, I have definitely had ups and lows, and they were definitely much more, well, connected to what I eat. And let me tell you a big secret right now. If you eat garbage, you're gonna feel bad. So on the days that I manage to eat well, which for me means home cooked food, basically stuff that I just make for myself, like buying the basic products, like buying beans and then cooking like something with beans in it or vegetables, I feel better. And then if I take to eating like pizzas and stuff, which I am telling you no big secret, I don't feel as great the next day or that very day. So, as far as training goes, it is much easier to train when you're on testosterone. That's amazingly unfair. Like I used to think as a woman that men had an unfair advantage when it came to doing sports, but I had no friggin' idea how unfair their advantage was. Because see, having testosterone in your system when you're doing sports means you have more physical strength, you have more endurance, you have more stamina, you become tired a lot later in a stage of the same training, and you recuperate faster and you grow more muscle mass, and I think you grow more stamina. So from being borderline anemic, I have to say that I definitely enjoy my new stamina. And I think the last time I looked it up, my hemoglobin, which is like how much your blood oxygenates, I think like how much oxygen your blood carries when it passes through the lungs, just one of the measurements that we use to predict that would be called hemoglobin. So my hemoglobin goes from I think 11 to 14 in females and like 12 to 16 in males. Maybe I'm getting the ranges wrong. Don't quote me on this. Go look it up. It's everywhere. So anyways, on a scale of 11 to 15 or 11 to 14, I was always 11. And now I'm like somewhere near the 14. So that's also something to look out for when you're on testosterone, that values like this get bumped up, and this can have, there's a reason there's an upper limit to that. So what happens if you are over the limit for the normal range of hemoglobin, you could get blood clots, which are a fatal danger. So never dose yourself, always go through a doctor, and always have your blood levels, have your blood work done regularly, and heed your doctor if they tell you to lower your levels of testosterone. That's it. I don't actually consult my doctor every time I change my levels, just to be 100% honest with you guys. I do, however, take meticulous consideration of my blood work, and I know a little bit about this being a physical therapist. Still, it would be a much better idea going through my physician, but I've always been late on doing this, and well, so far my blood tests have been totally normal. But just to say, don't fuck with it. Just go for your doctor, okay? Okay, so I think even if you are taking hormones sort of unofficially, the way I've been doing it, you would still better do to tell it to your doctor and have them look at your blood work than not tell them, because 9 times out of 10 they're not going to try and talk you out of going on hormones, but they are going to look at your blood work and tell you if you're healthy. So it's worth it. Okay, so other than that, you want to see me shirtless? Yeah, you always want to see me shirtless. Or maybe I just want to see me shirtless. Like when I watch my own videos, I always skip to this. So, taking the shirt off on Ellie's channel. Woo! Okay, so this is you recognize the IKEA lamp that we have? My wife got this. Okay, so this is me right now. And this is my back. And like I always promise you all to get in a chair so you can see. This is like the most low tech it could be. So this is what I look like right now. And once again from the back. And yeah, well, basically this is it. So, okay. I just basically got on a kitchen chair there. Yeah, so I think I'm a lot bigger than I used to be. I think so. I think I have less tits too, but I don't really know because I don't really wear bras anymore. So it's anyone's guess what my size would be. I suppose right now it would be about a B something. Never mind. I'm very wide, but like the breasts are actually small. Not important. Anyways, the important part is I definitely went down a lot in the size of my breasts. I know that's a big issue for a lot of people. It's a big issue for me. And now when I wear a binder, which I'm not wearing for the sake of videos because I kind of want to see myself and where I was actually at, like with the most, I just want to be able to see where I was. So if I wear a binder, I can look totally flat. So that's cool. Speaking of binders, I've been wearing a shitload of binders. It's been increasingly like more frequent that I change to a binder before I leave the house, or that I take a shower and I immediately want to put on a binder. And I got myself like 4 more binders so I can do this. And then within a year, I have definitely worn right through the 2 binders that I had, which is saying something because I haven't worn through any of my sports bra in that year. So I've been wearing them a lot. I definitely feel better with a binder on. I definitely feel better in a shirt with a binder than in a shirt without a binder, especially if the shirt is of a cut and color that accentuates the chest. So I much rather appear flat. So that's one thing. Okay, and then another thing is, yeah, so I'm having a lot more muscle growth. So I think I haven't been actually able to train the months before because I fucked up my hand and like I fell on my wrist and it was, never mind. I couldn't do like my routine. And then this month I've been doing a lot more straps, which is basically 2 ropes hanging from the, God damn it. 2 ropes hanging from the ceiling, and you kind of hold on to them, and then you do everything you do, you just do lifting yourself up. So it's a lot of upper body work, and it definitely makes you grow. So if any of y'all are interested in like developing strength, but you're not into gym memberships and you don't want to do it like the classical way, I definitely recommend getting into circus arts, particularly aerial circus arts, which are just, beside being a mountain of pain to climb, they are also beautiful and have aesthetics, and they make you grow like shit ton. So that's great. Yeah, so where was I at? Okay, so there was a voice drop, there was a muscle growth, there was, I suppose, more stamina. Like I run on a treadmill. I used to play basketball. I haven't yet found a basketball team here in Spain, or I really want to though, but it used to be difficult for me to run for half an hour, and now it's not a challenge. Now the challenge is how quickly, like how fast I run, and how well I finished the run. Like in half an hour, was I able to do 5 kilometers? Was I able to do less or more? But the challenge of running for half an hour is not a challenge anymore. So that's that. I was going up and down with like fat percentages, I think, for the bigger part of last year. Now you have to take into consideration that I immigrated lately. So, and you know how you have the list of like the most stressful conditions to be in. So one, I think, was like a breakup and the loss of a loved one, like the death of a loved one. And then the second one was moving to a different country. So we did this year, so there's that. Luckily, thankfully, nobody died that is close to me. I didn't break up with anyone, but I definitely had this big stressor in my life, plus graduated from university, plus there was a lot going on. So it's not that surprising that my weight went up and down, but still small amounts. Like I started out the year 74. Now I'm 74.5. So whatever it was, like I did go up to 79 at some point, but it did come right back down as well. I think more than anything, it has to do with like food, how much you eat, when you eat, what you eat. So if any of y'all are having trouble relating to that, I would just go educate myself in nutrition, because sports alone doesn't cut it, and it's a big part of being able to achieve the body that you want to achieve. For me, at least. You know what? Maybe not for everyone. For me, it was super important. I'm super vain. I want to look a certain way, and I don't think it's dysphoria. It's just something that's important to me. Anyways. So I did go up a shirt size. I used to be a men's medium, and now I'm a men's large, but that's European sizes, not American sizes. And then I used to be a pant size like 42, and now, 44 to 42, and I'm a 40 to 42. So I went down a pant size, up a shirt size. So that goes from this to maybe more like this, because I'm not gonna say I'm that, because I'm not there. Like I never had a waistline, that's why there's no curve there, but I'm definitely not here yet. Nor am I ever gonna be with the size of the pelvis that I have, but that's fine. That's the least of my problems. Anyways, hair. So I always do this. So just to keep y'all in, this is what my arms look like after 19 months on T. And then I show you guys, oh yeah, my pits have been getting hairier. And then I also have some hair on my chest that's super fine and like super blonde. So I'm not gonna try and even force it, because you're not gonna see it, but it's definitely there. My stomach has been getting definitely more hairy, but the amazing, and this is like circus skills, the amazing part of it is like my fucking legs. Like, look at that. I have so much on my legs. I'm standing and I got my leg up. That's so funny. Like, didn't used to have this hair on my legs. That's amazing. I didn't have anything up to here, and then like having my thighs just be super hairy all the way up to basically the crotch. That's new. Also, you have to take into consideration what your genes have in plan for you. And if my brother and father are anything to go by, I'm going to be a monkey with a bald head. So that's one more consideration. Summer is starting. I sweat like a motherfucker, and I smell more. Okay, now other than that, I usually also talk about something emotional or something mental. So what I do want to discuss today is like, I'm starting to pass, and I mean that, and like, people either think that I'm a man, or they think that I want to be read as a man. So I'm getting more and more the very, very polite question, and to be asked this in Spain, apparently is not so common, and it's definitely not asked in the same way that it is asked in Israel. So in Israel, people just, the smallest doubt, is just right up to your face, ask you a boy or girl, And what I get here is a very polite, very unoffensive, sort of lightest question. I'm so very sorry to bring this up, but which pronouns would you rather I use to refer to you? And then I go like, yeah, I really wonder, like, the pronoun question. That's a good question. So it really depends on the situation. And sometimes I say, oh, well, please use the female one. Or sometimes I would say, I don't give a shit which one you use. Or sometimes I'd say, yo, I'm transgendered, so you can go ahead and use the male one as well. But what I actually feel in regards to this question is very different than what I actually say, because usually if somebody has to ask me, then they don't know me very well, and if they don't know me very well, then the chances that I will answer a complete response is very small. So the thing is, it's not that I don't care about pronouns, it's that I care a lot about pronouns, and to me they represent perhaps the most binary aspect of being non-binary, because like, even though the body is, well, it's either male or female on the level of gonads and chromosomes, basically everything else is like a spectrum. So you could be more or less male or female. And even cis male and cis females are more or less their characteristics. Like a man could be more or less hairy, a woman could be more or less tall. So that's basically like that's a question of spectrum and statistics. Like you're either grouped in the male group, or you're grouped in the female group, or you're somewhere on the continuum in between. And that depends on a lot of things as well, like your age and your race. Also, I think who touched on this lately? Queer as Cat definitely touched on this lately, that like the more African of origin that you are, the more you appear male in a white perspective, and the more Asian you are in your genetics, the more in a white perspective you would appear female. And how this is all, I mean, I live in Europe, it's basically the whitest place in the world, so this matters. But being white, I get the questions. I get the questions more than anything. And then it's nice because people here are super delicate about it, and there's nothing offensive about the questions, and I don't mind getting them. The thing is, I don't know what to fucking tell them, you know? And it's like, on one hand, they are acknowledging me, you know? They acknowledge that I am different, and they acknowledge that there appears to be a misalignment between referring to me in female and this body or this presentation that I have, which is great, you know. It's that coincides with the truth. And it hasn't for a long time. Like for a long time I was just referred to in a female pronouns, unless I was actually trying very hard to present as male, which I don't like to do. I don't like to try very hard to present as male. I would rather not try at all and be read for what I am, which is somewhere in the middle. But people usually, when they get that, they ask. So when I speak a gender language, for example, Hebrew, I normally take the female conjugation. The thing is that I've always done that. And I feel like not to do it would be a way stronger statement than to continue using it. Because a person that presents masculine and speaks masculine, to me, in my mind, is a man. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that are going to disagree on that, and that's fine. That's theirs. I don't argue. I said mine. That's my idea. However, a person which appears female and speaks female, to me, is a woman. So there's no way around this. Like, I am stuck in the same binary limbo as everybody else. But what I do feel when somebody consistently uses one form of speech with me is that to that person I am that sex. And while it is none of my business how they view the world and how they categorize the world, I wish it wasn't so. And with loved ones and very, very close loved ones, you can perhaps play with this. Also, it is my business how they see me, for example, my wife. And there, I would very much prefer to have like mixed language, like being referred to once as that and once as this. But that's a tall order. Like, some people cannot do this. For example, I don't see my mother doing this, and I don't expect her to. I think for her to refer to me in a male every now and then would just be fucking weird. And like, here's another thing. There's like the male roles in society, which I have no desire to fulfill. Like, my transition, my objectives, they all have to do with my body and my relationship with my body. None of this is about society. Like, I have no desire to go out to the street and be read as a man. It doesn't interest me. I'm not. It doesn't. A lot of people, for them, that's a big thing. For me, that's a fact that comes along with taking testosterone, but it's definitely not a goal. And then, there's also the point of social roles. For example, being a father, being a brother, being a husband, which I do not want. I do not want male roles. I cannot stress this enough. I am perfectly content to be a woman socially and politically. And if the people closer to me start referring to me with male pronouns, that will change. Now, there's a lot of contradictions in this. For example, I do want them to recognize that I'm not entirely just female. And also, for example, I keep hearing from a lot of people closer to me saying, well, maybe you're just a dude. Like, maybe you're just a trans dude. Maybe you're just a trans man. Maybe you should just transition and be a man. Maybe you want to be a man. Maybe you are a man. Maybe you're just slowly transitioning into a man. And what I always say in response to that is I have no idea, I have no idea. If I had an idea, I would just go ahead and do it. But I don't know where I will feel content to end up. For example, I know that I really don't want to lose my hair. And then I only want my voice to go down to a certain level. I might want my breast removed, might not. That's a big question. Big one. Huge. That I do not have the answer for right now, but maybe I will in the future, maybe I won't. Maybe I will stay in this state of indecision for the rest of my life. So I really don't know what to say to those people that are close to me and they're asking me, maybe you're just a man, Because they're like physical things that I want, for example, a flat chest, and physical things that I don't want. I don't want a penis. I never wanted a penis. I would feel ashamed to give up the reproductive system that I have. I feel connected to it. I enjoy it. I also enjoy the bottom growth that comes with testosterone and the changes to sexual desire and sexual practice that it enables. But I never want to have bottom surgery. That's not even on the list of things that if I asked God for a perfect body that I would ask for. Like, I don't need a dick. I just don't. I've never needed one. I've never fantasized about having one. I'm fine with dicks. They're great. Everybody loves them. I love them. I just don't need one on me. That's like the only cis trait that I have is being good with my junk. And nobody believes that. Like, nobody believes me that I don't want a dick. Like, the minute I say it, people are like, oh, okay. Long story. Anyways, so that's that. So we're going to Russia in the summer with me starting to grow a beard, starting to finally have my voice drop, going to Russia in the summer. Like, my ass is gonna be covered in makeup. Just covered in makeup. Like, I don't want to get into any trouble there. Probably not gonna be as big a deal as I put it, as I might present it as right now, but I'm a little worried. So this was it, basically. Maybe just a bit about also dating men, which is a possibility since I'm basically in a polyamorous relationship. So me and my wife, we have an agreement. We can date other people. I'm not going to talk about what she does because that's her business, but I might talk about myself. So it is an option for me to date men, and I've never taken the liberty of actually doing that because, well, big thing with me is I never felt that I was attractive to men because I never felt feminine, which is so fucking funny. Like, I look at pictures of myself 16, 18, 25, and I'm like the femmest, sweetest little flower, just like this super femme, like lesbo chic, woman, basically. And I never felt that. I never felt feminine. And it's amazing because I never felt that. I never got the male attention that comes with being feminine. So maybe I got this attention and I just didn't notice, didn't register, or maybe I just was emitting a kind of atmosphere that definitely made men understand that I was not interested in them. It's only that it's not that I wasn't interested in men as much as I have a big problem with the male or the male world culture in Israel. So what I thought was lack of attraction to men in general is actually very cultural. For me in Europe, I meet a lot of men that I find attractive. A lot of men that I find attractive, to the point where it's not I'm gay and there's one or two men I like. No, it's like I like guys here. And it's definitely has to do with culture, because like back in Israel, I cannot say this. Back in Israel, it's like 1 in 10,000. Like seriously, I've met maybe 3 that in my whole adult life that I liked, but that were Israeli men, because it's a different culture of masculinity. It's a much more toxic culture of masculinity, where you basically have to denounce all things feminine and human emotion to be a real man. So that doesn't do it for me. It's very hard. So I'm not in any way attracted to that. So I have basically zero experience dating a man. And now people think I'm a man. And what if and I might actually think it's a good idea to date men now for like both ends of it, both to explore my own identity and to be with men, in a sort of situation where I never was, where I always said I cannot date men because dating a man makes me a woman. That's something that for me was intolerable. Like I could never date a guy because on the few and rare occasions that I have, they always made me feel like a girl. And that for me was a no-go. I mean, and maybe I could approach that from a different angle now and actually enjoy and have like human relationships with men, not just, being buddies. Okay, so that was that. That was a long one. Thank you all for listening, and may I become someday able to pass a whole video without touching my hair. Hasta luego.